A well-known evangelical pastor in North Texas says he is stepping away from the ministry. We're talking about Dr. Tony Evans. He says he's stepping down due to sin. Evans is stepping down due to sin.
Bishop T.D. Jakes is updating his followers for the first time about that health scare he experienced last Sunday. The incident was caught on camera as he delivered a sermon at the Potter's House Church in Dallas. Bishop Jakes now says he did not have a stroke, but what did happen could have killed him. He got pretty emotional as he left the hospital today.
The founding pastor of Gateway Church, Robert Morris, resigned after a woman accused him of sexually assaulting her beginning when she was just 12 years old.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to take a few minutes today to speak from my heart to the Daystar family and friends. Recently, Daystar made the decision to terminate my son, Johnathan Lamb's employment. That decision was not taken lightly. It followed a 15-month review of Jonathan's performance and his refusal to take any steps to satisfy a detailed performance improvement plan put in place. He also refused my offer to participate in a formal mediation to resolve grievances in a biblical and professional manner. You see, Jonathan was extremely disappointed that he was not named the future president of Daystar following the death of his father and my husband, Marcus Lamb.
Hey guys, Jonathan and Susie Lamb here. We just wanted to get on here because so many of you have been concerned about how we're doing, and we just wanted to let you know that we no longer work at Daystar. A lot has been going on over the last couple of years that we just couldn't talk about. But we've given over all of our evidence over to multiple reporters, including the police department. Daystar was contacted for a comment by the journalist Friday, November 15th, and then I was subsequently fired the following day, November 16th.
Some scary things happened. Being followed, private investigators, intimidation, threats. Even through all of that, things don't stop. So we felt like we had no other option but to reach out to a journalist. When you bring things to the light, things, get better. So that's what God has taught us a lot in these last few years. And we've had to do some very difficult things, but there's a reason God told us to have this evidence. So I really encourage you to not just go by emotions or what you hear, but to look at the evidence.
All praises to the Most High. This is Elliot. I want to talk about something today that I was going to talk about months ago, but I'm happy that I've waited this long because there's been many more developments since then. And I want to talk about the planned, or basically the timing of the destruction of Christianity and what that means in these last days. And the reason why I say destruction is because of this. It seems as if we're getting to the moment in the time where a lot of the things and the people that we're used to seeing as leaders and icons in the Christian community seem to be falling, one after another. Scandal after scandal. I'm talking about big ones, and especially in the state of Texas. See, Texas is a place where a lot of Christian ministries are. If you're familiar with some like Tony Evans, T.D. Jakes, not Creflo, he's in Atlanta, but who do we have? Joel Osteen. We have the Copelands, Kenneth Copeland and his family, and the list goes on, as well as the Daystar Network, who I'm also going to talk about today, basically the platform for all of these mega iconic ministries, which are also wolves. Unfortunately, a lot of these people are false teachers, most all of them. So how are we going to talk about this and how it relates to the last days? Well, it comes down to the point where we have to realize and see that the things that we're seeing before us isn't necessarily just happening by circumstance. This is a movement of the puppets, of the hands that move the puppets, and a lot of things that we're seeing before our eyes, although they look real and we want them to feel real and we want to touch them and make them tangible, a lot of it is just spiritual manifestations of the times and the days that we're living in. And a lot of the things that we're seeing are a lot of these big ministries being brought down. I think it started with Tony Evans, 6 or 7 months ago, or maybe a year ago now, where something happened with him, and then he stepped down. And then we have Robert Morris of Gateway Church, huge ministry out there in Texas. They're on television, on the Daystar Network, Trinity Broadcasting Network, and probably many other ones. he had a scandal, stepped down. Who else do we have? We have, of course, TD, who's been caught up with all these different things with Diddy, and most recently some more accusations, and then the health scare. All this to say is, if you're wondering why all this seems to be happening at once, I'm here to let you know that this is being done because the system of Christianity is being brought down in these last days. And the reason why is because what we're embarking on is a world where everything becomes one. The currency becomes one, and the religion becomes one. So the destruction of Christianity, which, as most of you know who watch my channel knows, that I live by the Bible and I have faith, came from the Christian church. However, I'm not professing to be part of the Christian religion anymore. I just am a Bible believer, and I believe the truth of the Bible. And the reason why I say that is because it's so easy to tag on a label of being a Christian and to say you're going to roll with that because you believe in the Son of the Most High God and who they call Jesus, which is in his name, of course. We're not going to tag on that too much more on this video. However, it is important to understand that the reason why they need to bring this particular establishment, this beast of Christianity down, is to make a universal, one world religion where everybody worships the same God, which has ended up at the end of the day being Satan, right? Even though you don't know that. You're like, I don't worship Satan. I'm a Christian. Well, unfortunately, a lot of the rituals, such as the holidays and the pagan gods that they've called, like Jesus coming from Zeus, and a lot of the things that have been changed in the word, the way the word has been misconstrued from the different practices and religious things of that nature, have literally gotten us believing, practicing, and following the Bible in a very wrong way that needs to be corrected. And if you have the faith to go, now this is the most important thing about being a Christian and growing up in church and doing everything that you could do when you were in the dark and didn't know any better. I'll tell you one thing that consistently helped me as growing and being developed as a Christian. And that was my ability to build my faith. Now, one of the things that they could not stop is to believe the unbelievable and believe the unseen. And that's one thing that we continue to do. And a lot of people who are walking in faith, even though they were going through, Christian church and getting a whole bunch of false teaching from a whole bunch of false teachers, you were able to build your faith during this season and these times. And this is a very, very important thing to do, because as we transition over to just the organic, pure form of the Bible and all of its truth and nothing added in, no additives or preservatives, we were able to learn and know that exercising our faith would take us to a completely different level. And then that faith would transition over into the truth. And it would be easier to make that transition and fall away from all the false teachings and all the pressure that the Christian church put out there. It was so much about who could teach, who Israel is, and all the stuff, right? All the stuff that we come out with. But if you have seized the planet, deposited into your spirit to want more, to be able to open your eyes up and wake up and see that the things that were taught to you aren't really the truth. They didn't make any sense, but yet you still have a connection to the Most High God. Then you're transitioning into really following the Bible the way it reads. And that's going to come either from really, getting a lot of teaching from people who really understand, or this is the most important thing to do: read the word for yourself. And do not just follow traditions. Do not just allow the teachers and the preachers and the ministers of the Christian church just to give you one scripture here and one scripture there and just make up their complete doctrine off of that. And that's what we've done so many years, and I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of teaching in that way, even though I didn't really go too far with that. But I definitely have some sermons on record that was just some stuff that I learned from being a Christian that doesn't even line up. It doesn't line up with the word at the end of the day. So for those people I would say this. Maybe, if you're going through a season where you feel like, I've done so much wrong, how could I even return back to faith, or what do I even believe in? That's the trap that a lot of people were hoping, that Satan and his demons are hoping that you fall into, hoping that you fall away from faith, fall away from religion, and just become a universalist, follow yoga. That's what so many people are out here doing anyway. But no, we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we unlearn, detox, refresh, rest, and start to really eat this word up for ourselves. Most importantly, to know that what the Christian church teaches you about the law, statutes, and commandments not being done away with, the Bible does not say that. So in order to really show your true love for the Most High God, the things that you need to do is truly follow his law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Learn his Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible. Spend time in there. Line yourself up with that. And as you start to do that, you'll start getting supernatural seeds of impartation coming into your spirit. It'll open up new doors of teaching and opportunity, and even in the truth, even when people are out here teaching, exactly what the Bible says, per se, even there's so many people out here that are teaching false doctrines in that. So that's why it's really important to really go through this word and try to figure out as much as you can on your own. And if you have any trouble trying to delineate and just get everything in your spirit the right way, pray about it. Pray with the Spirit and knowing that what you're doing is really trying to build yourself up to exceed and go beyond all the lies and stuff that's been forced down our throats. Talk to us on Sundays. Even the fact that worshiping on Sunday, that is pagan. Holidays, pagan. All this stuff. And every time we participate in these rituals, it emboldens and empowers the institution of Christianity and the spirits that are working inside people to continue to do more. People get into what they call the Christmas spirit. And I've seen it. I've been part of it. And it's weird that music just channels in through all the department stores and through the radios and televisions, and people just feel like they just have to just give, walking around like zombies, buying stuff people don't need with money that they don't have. But yet they get into this thing and they say it's for the family and for the children. But no, it's honestly, it's a dedication, a spirit to Tammuz and all these guys that I'm not even going to get into because that's not the purpose of this particular video. But I just want to talk to you about how things are just literally being destroyed before our eyes. With the Daystar network, there's so much going on, so much inter-family drama, and things are just being destroyed, and everything's coming out there. And what's happening, even if these ministries survive, these road bumps, hiccups, or whatever, is forever changing the landscape of Christianity. And if your eyes are open, you're able to see that there's not the same thing going on in these churches that once did. The generation that were showing up every Sunday, there's a lot of people not even doing that anymore. A few years back when everything was closed, a lot of people didn't even go to church. They transitioned to online services and stuff like that. People got used to either going online only or just not going anymore. So, like I said, with all these things and all these things we're seeing with people being brought down one after another in front of us. In Texas, this is like the Mecca, the hub, the HQ for all things Christianity, in my opinion. There are definitely major ministries in other parts of the United States, but the major ones that are coming out of the United States are the big ones. A lot of them are being brought down right before our eyes. And of course, we have some younger, newer ones. It was the Todd guy, I can't remember his name, and some other younger guys that are coming out. But man, if you look at these guys in the face, man, you could definitely see that they're overcome as well. And a lot of the young ministers that are really pouring into the younger generations, the millennials and the Gen Z and beyond that, if it started yet, you're seeing that they're just coming with so much false teaching that it's even hard to even fathom. But that's where we are today. So just know that as they start to tear this down, the alternative is going to be more universalism, more acceptance, more of everybody worshiping the same God. And that's going to end up being the Baphomet at the end of the day. If you don't know who that is basically the God of the devil. The everybody's trying to worship a homogenous, androgynous, no sex demon, aka Satan. So let's continue to know that as we go forth, to stand strong and be, fervent in the things that we do, walking upright and being just aware of everything happening in the last days. There's so much noise, and at the same time, if you tune out the noise and you really pay attention to what's going on, things are changing rapidly, and it's definitely happening in the Christian faith. But the most important part of the Christian faith is knowing that you take that, build your faith, and know that in your heart, see, the Most High does see your heart, and that does not change. That in your heart, if you're really striving to connect with the Most High God, that He will find you. His chosen will be found. He will come to you. He will bring you truth. He will help you fall away and pull the scales off your eyes and see the things that have been taught to you incorrectly. That's what we need to do in these last days, and that's what's important for us to help transition and make sure we don't fall into the way this world is trying to take us in these last days, because they've gotten their hands on so many people and steered them and guided them in the direction that they intended them to go. But for the people who are really standing strong, feeling like they're set apart, called and chosen by the Most High, we have to be able to see what's going on before us and then basically double down and hunker down and weather the storm and make sure that we stand on solid ground and not allow any of this stuff to take us and veer us to the right or the left. But we have to stand strong. And I'm not saying it's easy, because I'm telling you, with years and years invested into following the Most High the best way that I thought I could, listening to false teachers and being out there and doing certain things, believing that things were right, it's a very humbling experience to have to unlearn and detox from the things that were incorrectly taught. But it's doable. And it takes humility and importance. Like I've said, it takes faith. And I think that's one of the most key things that they were not able to really destroy or control during people being in the dark. Faith. Because see, even as a Christian, I've seen prayers answered. I've seen healings in my body. I've seen miracles of all sorts. And it was based upon my faith. Well, what about your faith in the false God, Elliot? Was it in the false God? In my heart, it was not faith in the false God. In my heart, I was really trying to do the best I could to connect with God in the best way that I can. And He knows that. See, all this stuff was written. And in these last days, I kind of look at Christianity, even though it's off in so many ways, completely controlled and dominated by false teachers for the most part. And so many people who've experienced that were literally, I look at it as like being in a waiting room. So if you're going to go see a doctor, which I'm not even going to go there, but just say you did. But anyway, you sit in a little waiting room before you actually go see the physician or whatever. All right. But I felt like it's really kind of a bad illustration, but this is what it comes to me every time. Just like sitting there and waiting to see, whoever I'm waiting to see, the dentist or whatever. Okay. So, in that room, it's like I felt like it was Christianity. It was like I was there. I knew I was supposed to see who I was going to see once it was time to see them. But in the meantime, just waiting, I was just kind of just holding still, and kind of in a holding pattern. And I feel like Christianity does that in so many ways for the people who really come out of it and their eyes are open and they're able to see the error that they had to really detach from. And now we're coming out of this waiting room. It's time to do things right, because as these times of the days start to unfold, we have to do our best to really line ourselves up to be the bride for the Most High Son who's coming soon. All right? So, like I said, with all the noise and all the things that we're seeing from Texas, from the Daystar, the Lamb family. We've got, of course, Robert Morris already stepped down. We've got T.D. Jakes, all kind of mess happening with him. Who else? Tony Evans, I think he already stepped down. And these are some mega ministries, aka mega, aka controlled. These are the puppets, the main puppets, okay? So I want to just leave you guys with this particular point today, that Christianity is literally being brought down and destroyed in front of our eyes. And the reason for this is because we are being set up for the one world religion. However, not you. We are being set up to follow the Most High God and to really follow him in truth and in spirit in all ways from this point forward. To be purged from everything that we've learned that was incorrect and really to follow him in a righteous way. All praises. Until the next time I talk to you, this is Brother Elliot. Shalom.
Ethnically diverse Kazakhstan is home to 18 religious denominations, and in September it opens its doors for a global interfaith dialogue. Its capital, Astana, hosted the 7th Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions. Delegates from more than 50 countries came together, urging for peace and consolidation around the world. Islam, Judaism, Christianity and Hinduism, as well as other world religions, were represented at the Congress. This year, Pope Francis, as well as the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayeb, were among the renowned guests.
The image of leaders of so many world religions sitting together around a table sends a strong message of unity in diversity to the world.
The main result is that we are sitting together, we are speaking together, and we are understanding that to find solutions for the problems in the world.
Instead of going to a world divided by blocks that are antagonistic, civilization wants to build bridges of understanding and respect. So today, this understanding of all living together is more important than ever.
The final declaration of the Congress calls upon world leaders to abandon all aggressive and destructive rhetoric, which leads to destabilization in the world. It demands a cease from conflict and bloodshed in all corners. It says that extremism, radicalism, terrorism and all other forms of violence have nothing to do with authentic religion and must be rejected.
It should be noted with regret that some political circles use religion as a means to achieve their goals. Moreover, today we can see other religious figures who call for confrontation and war. Everyone should know and see this, and we must fight together against it.
Participants of the Congress planted trees in the new Peace and Harmony Park in the capital of Kazakhstan. This ceremony is a symbol of hope for the interfaith dialogue to grow and bring about change, to unite different communities across the globe, and to inspire people to join their efforts in the name of peace.
We talk about global peace, but I would say those steps begin at the local level. They begin in every small town where Christians and Muslims, perhaps together, they seek to feed the hungry. And we're no longer looking at our differences, but we are recognizing our common concern for those who struggle or suffer.
Participants of the Congress hope that their appeal for global dialogue, reconciliation and peace based on common values of humanity, shared by all religions, is heard across the globe. Is heard across the globe. Is heard across the globe.